everybody. Welcome to Love Stuff. Is that it?
Yeah.
In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, we're going to be talking about how love ain't selfish, y'all. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, chapter 5. Huh?
Verse 5.
Okay. Welcome to Love Stuff. Today we are talking about 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5, which says love.
Love is not self-seeking. Other translations say love does not insist on its own way.
Love is not self-seeking. Let's do that again from the top. Come forward as together we stand and sing. Hey everybody, welcome to Love Stuff. Today we're going to talk about 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. Paul says love is not self-seeking.
Or love does not insist on its own way. Okay, so Justin, why don't you tell us what it means to not be self-seeking?
Yes, that means that you don't seek yourself. Are you expecting me to say something profound here? So that looks like French fries.
French fries. Oh, why'd you have to bring up French fries?
I'm bringing it up because some of us need to keep working on that.
Yeah.
When you get French fries at a restaurant and you're like, you know what? I don't need an order and you need an order. Let's just split an order of fries.
First of all, if you are a newly married couple, just don't split the fries.
So what happens is, of course, you get the fries and then all of a sudden the race begins. I want the fries to last exactly the amount of time that my other food lasts.
But I want to make sure I get all my fries because Justin will just keep eating them at that pace until he's done with his meal. And so
I thought this was about how you don't do
all
it right.
of the fries. Oh no, we both have a problem. He'll just keep eating and then he gets frustrated if they're gone when he still has food left. And I'm like, I ate my half. Sometimes I eat more than my half of the fries. Especially when they're Parmesan truffle fries at Hop Dottie.
And we split it every time because
we're cheap.
We're serious about the Bible.
But there's this thing in my head that in that moment cares more about getting an extra 5 Parmesan truffle fries than it cares about my husband. In that moment, I love me more than I love you. I'm looking out for me more than I'm looking out for you. I want mine.
That's what self-seeking means. It means going after what is going to benefit me. Love is just not that.
We just imagine that a grand movie is being made and we're the main character and the camera is always on us.
I sometimes have a parking spot that I see that I'm headed toward. I'm excited to take hold of.
Yeah.
And someone pulls in ahead of me.
Yes.
And I know in that moment they took my spot.
Or you're in traffic, right? Who is the person who's inconvenienced by this traffic? It's you. You never think of yourself as the traffic.
Yeah.
Like you're the one who's in someone else's way.
Whoa, you're
the
blowing
one
my mind. I'm traffic?
You're traffic. So when I think seeking, I think Harry Potter, right? The seeker.
The seeker.
Yes,
We're talking about
chasing
Quidditch
after-
now,
yes,
which
Quidditch.
is a fictional sport played on flying brooms high in the air.
Harry Potter's role as seeker is to catch this golden snitch. And he's gonna do everything that he can to get it. And his whole focus, the whole game, I mean, everybody else is doing all kinds of things in the game and he doesn't pay attention to them at all. All he wants is that golden snitch.
Laser focused.
Yes, and that, I think, is the way tons of us act in life.
Wow.
Right? There's all kinds of stuff going on. We don't pay any attention. We are just chasing our own
Take me to church, woman.
Yes.
Preach.
Yes. So we are just chasing our own self, our own interests, our own desires. We just want what we want.
Love is not self-seeking.
It's not.
Love isn't self-focused. Love is not self-obsessed. Love doesn't think everything is about me. Yes.
The answer to this not being self-seeking is to be God-seeking.
Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you, right?
Exactly. And so people who are self-seeking when they enter marriage are going to say, you know, this marriage is for me. This marriage is about me. I need this marriage to make me better. I need this marriage to make me happier.
If I'm unhappy, then that matters most.
Yes.
If I'm unhappy in a moment, that becomes the overarching priority in our relationship and frankly, in the world, right?
Right.
Or if this marriage isn't benefiting me right now, I can leave because this is about me.
And if you start to feel that way, you're just going to be overwhelmed all the time. You're always going to be looking at ways that the person that you're married to is not pleasing you, is not living up to your expectations, is not serving you. If it's about you, your marriage is always going to stink.
Yeah. No matter how good it is, there will always be ways that they're not serving you. Mm-hmm. Always.
Yeah.
You can turn a great marriage into a bad one quick in your mind.
So I think one of the first times that I was confronted with this need to change the way I was acting and to stop being self-seeking, we were married for half of college, like for me. I proceeded with my college degree not really imagining a future married. So like as I imagined my job and like what I would go do, I never thought, will this job work in the context of our marriage? I was gonna graduate college, and then I was going to go get a PhD in English, and I was going to teach English at a university. But it turns out, if that's what you want to do, it's kind of a complicated path. And there are only a few universities that you really want to go to make sure that you can get into the PhD program that you want to get into and to apply to schools all over the country. And then only a couple of them might accept you. And bottom line is, you go where you get accepted.
Right. Meanwhile, I'm pursuing a career path that works very similarly.
Yeah.
You don't just decide, hey, I'm going to move to Pittsburgh and then find a job preaching.
We get to this point, I think, first semester of my senior year, where I sort of look at him and realize, oh no.
There were a lot of times you looked at me and thought, oh no, but...
what am I gonna do? Like, I'm gonna have to spend the rest of my life following him around.
Yeah, you know what never occurred to me? That not being fair. That seemed entirely fair to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It was that main character syndrome. The challenge as you try to live out the way of Christ is you don't have to act like a jerk to be a jerk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be really nice along the way, but be blazing a trail that really only has to do with you. You can be polite. You don't have to, like, cuss at anybody. But what you're doing is seeking you, and that's fundamentally flawed.
Yeah. I had to sort of come to terms with the reality that I was married. And that if I was going to love this person, I was going to have to put what I wanted in the back seat. You know, we talk about our calling, and those can even get so selfish. Like, yeah, but I'm called to do this, so my husband had better get on board.
Right.
Like, no, when you got married, God called you to be married.
Sometimes your calling has less to do with your gifts and more to do with your obligations.
Ooh, that's like... I feel like this is my life, the thing he just said out loud, right? Because I keep thinking like my calling is about me pursuing my best self, right? And sometimes your calling, like what God wants you to do, is about you laying down yourself and pursuing the good of other people.
This sounds entirely impossible and overwhelming. Can I just... reality.
This is a Jesus thing. This is a Spirit of God inside you thing.
Yeah, this is not something that you can do on your own. Only by His grace and power that we can do it well and do it consistently. You're going to get it wrong. Right. You're going to get it wrong and wrong and wrong. However, that the fact that you can't get it right all the time shouldn't keep you from trying to get it right some of the time.
One tip for when you find yourself thinking a whole lot about yourself and not much about your spouse, maybe a good thing to do would be, so you find you're thinking, I'm hungry. What do I want to eat? Immediately taking that thought and flipping it and thinking, I bet my husband's hungry. What would he like to eat? You're looking through your closet. You're like, I have nothing to wear. I need to go shopping. Maybe what you need to think in that moment is, I wonder if my husband has things to wear.
Yeah, I wonder if he might want a capsule wardrobe of his own. Or it's Saturday and you're thinking, man, Saturday, I'm so glad to be in the weekend. What would I like to do today? And then you could stop, be like, you know what? What would she like to do today? Let's go do that. Okay, so homework. Your homework is to, and ours, we're gonna do this too, right?
We are gonna do this.
Okay, so homework is when you have a self-seeking impulse, then you turn it into a her-seeking or him-seeking question. You realize, ooh, we've got an extra $35. What would I like to do with it? That's fun. Stop and ask, hey, if my spouse had this $35, what would they like to do with it? Your homework is to do that 3 times. Take captive those impulses and just, it's not that many. You have a lot of selfish impulses.
That's true.
Like I would have to choose 3 out of 4,000 this week. So 3 times, selfish impulse comes, you switch it around, turn it into a selfless act, and I don't think your spouse will be sorry that you did that.
No.
Hey, thanks a lot for watching. We have some other videos that we'll link to here. We're tracking our way through 1 Corinthians chapter 13, talking about what love is and how love acts.
We want you to love in your marriage.
Yeah.
And your marriage is going to be great if you start loving each other.
And we want to live too. So we're like taking notes along the way, sharing what God is teaching us. And we would love to have you subscribe and be along for the journey.
Come.
Journey with us.
Journey with us. That's going in.